Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is the 1st of May. I haven't finished a book yet, obviously, but I did just want to come in and open the vlog, mostly because I really want to open this from Charlotte, which is obviously my May read from her. And yeah, I just thought I'd come in and say hello. Today is Friday, so I've just, look at this. I've just finished filming, it's absolute chaos, the end of my April vlog, which I'll link underneath, and also the opening clip for my upcoming unhaul vlog, which is going to be April, May and June, so you guys will see that in July. So I've just filmed the clip for that, which is why there's now stuff everywhere. And I thought, whilst there's chaos, why not open the vlog? So that's what I'm up to. This weekend is the first of the 2 bank holidays that we get in May, which is lovely because it means my husband will be home for 3 days rather than 2. We're going to go out for lunch with a friend tomorrow. Other than that, we have no plans for the rest of the weekend. Hopefully, I'm hoping we will finally get the rest of our pictures up on the walls. Because what is a bank holiday for if it's not DIY? And Gary wants to make shortbread, so we're going to do that together, I think possibly Sunday or Monday. So it should be a nice chill start to the month. Quick status update in case you are new here and in case you're not and you're interested. I am currently signed off work. I was diagnosed with a Chiari brain malformation last August. I was signed off in October because of symptoms that I was having. I had surgery in January, which was a skull decompression surgery. I am fully recovered from that surgery, but I'm still having all the same symptoms, which is mostly pain, nausea, chronic fatigue, all that fun stuff. And this month we have the follow-up appointment with the surgeons to see if it's worked. I had an MRI at the end of March, and what the next steps are. So there's quite high stakes this month, and I am very nervous about what's going to happen towards the end of the month. But trying to focus on the positives. We've got a really nice weekend ahead. Gary and I are going away at the end of the month, which I'm sure will be very much needed. It's much needed already, but it will definitely be needed by the time we get there. Charlie, my stepson, has the bulk of his GCSE exams this month, which I cannot believe we're here already. So we'll be trying to support him through that. And yeah, as ever, I'll be taking you along for the ride. So let's open this. Right, so this says, so each one, obviously I don't know what it is. That's the point. But she's left me some clues. So this one says, words today. Genre, fantasy/magical realism. Have I read? No, but I want to. Interesting. And then this was a total cover by, and the blurb screamed yes. It's quite thick. I think it's possibly the thickest book in the stack. And I have literally no idea what this is. So let's open this together. I'm opening this, 1, because it's the 1st of May. I can't wait any longer. And 2, I aim to have Charlotte's books be, if not the first, amongst the first books that I finish in the month. I'm trying to unwrap it carefully because I've been keeping the descriptions and like tucking them inside the book. So hopefully in January next year, I can do a wrap up of these books and remember what they were. Ooh, okay. I've seen this around. What a cover. Ink Blood Sister Scribe by Emma Torres. Apologies, I will find out how to say that name. Look at that cover. Yeah, this is a big book. How many pages are you? Well, the text is tiny. Okay, 497 pages. Wowzers. Okay, so let's find out what this is about. Deep in the woods of Vermont is a house nobody can find. A house where Joanna Calate lives alone, protecting a collection of rare books. I love a book about books. Oh yeah, blood. Yeah, Ink Blood Sister Scribe. That makes sense. At some point today, my brain will click into place. But these aren't ordinary books. These are books of ancient magic containing spells written in blood. Joanna's estranged older sister Esther is constantly on the move, attempting to outrun the deadly magic that killed her mother. Now camped out on an isolated research base in Antarctica, Esther has finally found a sense of happiness and belonging. But when she finds blood on a mirror, she knows she's being watched and hunted. But by who? All she knows is that she, Joanna, and the books they protect are in terrible danger. This sounds really interesting. Also, why do I think this is part of a series? I could be wrong. And this is a debut, so that's very exciting. Okay, well, we will obviously give this a try. I will also investigate if it is part of a series or not. But this is going to be, I'm going to start this today, so it'll be one of my first reads of the month. I'm also doing Chloe's Vampire Diaries readathon as well. And I'm also going to finish, or try and finish, I am going to finish my own reading challenge this month, which has been running for the last 3 months. So my plan is I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I've got about 8 books in my TBR stack, because I'm also doing the reading spa, which Jen and Kerry are running, and the Read Good challenge by Ben. So I'm going to read those books, cross off or tick off as many as I can on Chloe's list of prompts. She created a really cool game board, and then once I finish those, I'm then going to roll for prompts from Chloe's board, and we'll complete as many of those as we can. There are 20, so I'm not going to get them all. The most I've read in a month so far this year is 18 books. I'm not sure how this month is going to go, so we will see what happens. But yeah, I'll be picking this one up first. I can definitely see why that was a cover buy. That is beautiful. For now, I need to tidy all of this up, get April's vlog ready, and then enjoy a lovely long weekend with my husband. It's the 6th of May and we had a very lovely chilled weekend. Like I said, I think in my last clip, we went and saw a friend for lunch on Saturday, and then Sunday and Monday we've just chilled here. We went out for brunch on Monday morning, which is very nice. I had steak and eggs, which like I wouldn't usually choose for breakfast or brunch, but it was so good. And sorry, I'm just rubbernecking because there's for some reason quite a group of people across the road from my house. I'm a bit like, what are you doing? Yeah, so it was a very nice chill weekend. We didn't quite get everything done that we'd wanted to, as ever, but we did make shortbread. I think I put B-roll in of that, which was Gary's first time making it, and as a shortbread connoisseur, he said it was very nice, so that's good. I don't eat it because I don't like the texture. But yeah, it was a pretty chill weekend. And now we're kind of back into the week. I am feeling increasingly anxious because of the appointment with the surgeon that we have in a couple of weeks' time. And because of work stuff that I obviously can't really talk about very much here, but my brain is a little bit so I'm just trying to be gentle with myself and not like keep myself busy, because my anxiety gets worse if I do nothing, but also trying to find that balance of feeling okay. It's a whole thing. But anyway, welcome to the inside of my brain. However, I've got a few things to show you. I've got 4 parcels that have appeared for some unknown reason in the last couple of days. I've got a book that I finished, and I wanted to show you these. So these will be up on my Etsy by the time this video goes live, and this is my first 2026 like range of bookmarks that I've done so far this year, and I'm very excited about them because they're the first new ones I've had for ages, and also I'm just quite pleased with them. So these are obviously the seasons, as you can see. I'll show you which one in turn. All designed by me on Canva, and they'll be, like I said, up on the Etsy store. They're £2 each, or they will be in a set of 4, and I haven't decided yet if it's going to be, I can't remember if I charge £6 or £7 for a set of 4 on my Etsy, but it'll all be linked in the description. All of the profits go into the charity pot, and then in December that'll be split 50-50 between Cancer Research UK and Mind, and at the moment there's around about £300 in there, which is fantastic because we're raising some money for charity as well. So let's have a look at this. So obviously this is spring, and I just went for this like floral, I know, floral for spring, groundbreaking. They're double-sided. One side is glossy, as you can see, the other side is matte. And then they've all got my little What Victoria Red logo at the bottom. So that's spring. And then for summer, I chose this really fun, bright but like pastel-y design. And then autumn, we're obviously thinking like cozy, curl up and read on the sofa, like kind of vibe. And then finally winter. I think this one might be my, whoop. Let's try that again. I think this one might be my favourite. I really love that marbly effect. So yeah, that's the new collection, which like I said, by the time this video goes up, will be live. They can be bought individually or they can be bought as a set. I think they look quite nice together. They're quite individual, but I feel like they go together as well, if that makes sense. And yeah, like I said, all the proceeds of that will go into the charity pot, so that's exciting. I also finished my first book of the month, which you just saw me talking about. This is Ink Blood Sister Scribe by Emma Torres. I've already talked about this in the last clip, so I don't need to give you the kind of the synopsis. This one was slow. I've given it 4 stars. Let's just say that first of all. I really liked the first 200 pages. Then I felt like it dragged quite a lot in the middle. Some of it I was slightly skim reading, and then I really liked the end. This is 500 pages. Doesn't need to be 500 pages. No. Did I enjoy the writing style? Yes. Would I read more from the author? Yes, I would. This was her debut novel, and as far as I can see so far on StoryGraph, there aren't any other novels by her, but I will keep an eye out. Yeah, this I would say is literary fiction fantasy, because there's obviously the magic element of it. And it's this really interesting kind of look at families and secrets, magic, the bond between sisters, kind of finding yourself, and how you react when some of the fundamental things that make you you turn out to not be true or correct. And yeah, I thought this had a lot of interesting things to say. Like I said, doesn't need to be 500 pages, no. Did it very slightly make me feel slumpy? Yes. But I'm still glad I got to read it, so thank you to Charlotte for giving that book to me this month. And yeah, that's my first read of the month done. And then we have, doing this carefully, we have 4 parcels to open. So I don't know why. We'll obviously read notes and stuff together in a minute. Obviously, I deeply appreciate anything that gets sent to me. It's not required, it's not expected, it's very deeply appreciated. There's my little disclaimer. So let's open this together. I'm going to open this one to the side because my address is like right on the top of the box. It's something big. I've cut it open, but I haven't looked. I can see what this is. Okay, so somebody sent me this. How exciting. This is, in case you got to see, the sweet treats. So this has got Parma Violets, Love Hearts, Fudgies, Drumsticks, my favourite, Refreshers, Fruity Pops and Fizzers. That's very, very exciting. The Parma Violets are Charlie's favourite, so he will get at least some of those. There's no note in here, so I don't know who that's from, but thank you very much. I think I did get a message from Nikki on Instagram last night to say that a parcel had arrived for me and to open it, so I think it's probably from her. So thank you very much. If it was, obviously I will have found out and said thank you to whoever it was by the time this video goes up. That's really fun and very exciting, so we'll enjoy some of those. I also had a comment on my last month's vlog from Debs to say that she'd sent me something, but there was no option for a gift note. So one of these is also going to be from her, though obviously I don't know which one. Let's open this one next. Open one. What is that? Gift note. Gift note? No gift note. Okay, this may well be the one from Debs. Oh, good choice. I'm so excited for this book. This is Yesteryear by Caro Claire Burke. This has been all over the Booknet, and I am very excited to read it. It's about a like a farming tradwife influencer whose whole life is faked. It's all like managed, stage managed, all that sort of stuff, and then she wakes up back in time and like actually in the life that she's been pretending to lead. I think this is what this is about. So I'm very excited for this, and lots of people have been reading and enjoying it, so thank you so much. Oh, I do quite like that green colour. If this was you, Debs, thank you so very much to whoever it was. I think it possibly was from your message. And I'm very excited to read that. You will probably see me read that shortly. Let me just double check. Yeah, no, there's no gift note in there. Amazon not doing very well with the gift notes. That's really exciting. Okay, and then let's open this one. Oh, another open one. Okay, gift note first. No, there's no gift note in this one either, I don't think. What is, oh, Okay, this is Skandar and the Phantom Rider. So last month I read the first Skandar book. This is the second. So I'm very excited about this. This is about a world in which unicorns are real, but as you can see from the cover, they're not like the cute fluffy kind. They are like scary wild animals. And I really enjoyed the first book. I think I gave it 4 stars. So this is the second one. Obviously I don't want to give too much away. But as it says at the top, here is unicorns as you've never seen them before. And this is about Skandar's second year at his magical school. So that's very exciting as well. I love this cover. Such a beautiful blue. Again, I'm not quite sure who that's from, but I will find out and I will have thanked them. Right, then let's open this one. I'm trying to do it without putting my address on it. Oh, this one's a gift wrap. Okay, so this will definitely have a gift note. That's the receipt. Okay, who is this from? Oh, this is from Stacey at Cajun Peach. She said, just a little treat to hopefully give you a bit of cheer and adulting-free moments. We do love an adulting-free moment, and being an adult sucks. What's she gone for? Oh, Stacey, thank you very much. These are some of my favourite chocolates. This is Lily O'Brien's dessert collection. They are, as you can see, very pretty. So we've got a creme brulee, lemon posset, banoffee pie, hazelnut torte, key lime pie, and a raspberry infusion. They look delicious. Well, these are delicious. I know these are because I always really enjoy these. So thank you very much. So I've got, I've had my sweets topped up and 2 books that I'm really excited to read for very different reasons. It's the 8th of May and I'm not going to lie, it's been a bit of a wobbly week. I think I've probably already talked about it at the start of this vlog, so I won't keep banging on about it. But my brain is not my friend at the moment, both physically and mentally, and that's quite tough. So just trying to continue putting one foot in front of the other. Yeah, I did get, as you saw, a gorgeous bunch of roses from my mum and my brother and some truffles, which is very, very lovely of them. And it was just a just because gift, so that was really lovely. Those turned up yesterday and was a real surprise because, as I'll show you in a minute, I was expecting a book delivery because I'd pre-ordered a book. So when I like flung open the front door to the postman and he was there with this massive box, I was like, oh, okay, thank you very much. And then my book came later in the day. So that was very nice. That's a positive. And yesterday I went to see The Devil Wears Prada 2, which I really enjoyed. I am a hardcore Devil Wears Prada fan. It is of its age. It came out in 2006, which is horrifying because that's 20 years ago and that makes me want to throw up a little bit. But that is a film that was definitely a comfort film for me back in the day. I used to, before Gary and I lived together, I used to have this habit of couldn't fall asleep unless I had a film playing in the background. And Devil Wears Prada is one that I had on constantly. So I know it like inside out. I rewatched it, as you probably saw from B-roll, before I saw the film, and then went to see the second film yesterday. Really, really enjoyed it. I might go again in a week or so when it like drops down into the cheap seats. Yeah, I thought there were loads of really good nods to the original. Like the way they used the music was really effective to kind of like call back to the original film. The 4 leads, as ever, were fantastic. Like Meryl Streep is just such an incredible actor. Not that's a really obvious thing to say, but Anne Hathaway and Emily Blunt and Stanley Tucci obviously were all fantastic. I really, really loved the addition of Ashley Simone, who's known for playing Kate in Bridgerton. She plays Miranda Priestley's new assistant. Well, she's not new. She plays the first assistant. So it felt like familiar but fresh. It had its own story to tell. I loved the reveal of who the villain is. I love the discussion on how journalism is evolving as everything becomes obviously more online and less physical. I love the fashion. It's made me want to grow my hair long again. That won't last, but it's made me want to, I was like, I want to look like Andy. That's exactly how I want to dress all the time. And there were some brilliant cameos in it. I just had the best time, and it felt like a perfect sequel to that story. So yeah, I enjoyed that yesterday. And yeah, that's what I've been up to really. I've been filming my scavenger hunt vlog, which will be up before this one, so I'll link it underneath. That's been quite fun to do. But kind of in between that sort of stuff, I've been really tired and having a lot of symptoms, so I spent a lot of time in bed. I am about to, in 25 minutes at the time of filming this, do a live stream, which I haven't done live for ages. I mean, I did do a live with Hannah at Ladder M last month, which was really lovely, as part of her Ali Hazelwood read-along. But I haven't done one on my own channel. I don't think I did one at all last year, which is horrifying. And I thought, you know what, I'm at a point in like my recovery illness thing where actually doing a live for a couple of hours on Friday is probably doable. So I'm going to give that a try today. So like I said, I'll link it underneath if it went okay. If it was a disaster, I'll just delete it and we'll forget it ever happened. But yeah, that's happening in about 25 minutes. And then this weekend, we've got a few things happening. Usually we don't do stuff on both days, but it's kind of worked out this way around. So tomorrow, Gary and I are picking up Grandma, and we're meeting my mum and my brother sort of halfway between our houses for lunch at a pub we've been to before. I really like, so that'll be really good to have everybody together. And then Sunday we are going to a flea market, which is a few towns over. It's a little bit of a drive for us, but it'll be nice to go and see if we can find any treasure. Gary's workshop is now up and running. He fixed my hammock last month, and he's now kind of ready to start finding projects and bits to repair and upcycle and that kind of stuff. So we're going to go and do that, and then yeah, should be a nice weekend. I have been reading. I finished 2 books, and I have also hauled 2 books because I had my 2, I think it's my only 2 pre-orders. I've got my iced tea in here, but I've got my calendar here. Yeah, those are the only 2 pre-orders I've got this month. They just happen to come the same week. So let's talk about reading. First of all, on audio, I reread The Testaments by Margaret Atwood. I read it was a full cast narration, but it's led by Anne Dowd, the version that I read, who plays Aunt Lydia in The Handmaid's Tale and The Testaments TV series. And it was fantastic. If you're going to read this book, I would highly recommend going down the audiobook route if you can. I got mine on my library app. Basically, since I read the Julia Dawson book last month, which is called Survival Show, I've been on a real dystopian kick. I've also been watching the TV series of The Testaments. At the time of filming this, I've watched 6 of the episodes because they're releasing them weekly, and I'm like, who does that in the year 2026? Just give me the whole season so I can binge it. I am enjoying that, but it's definitely its own thing, and it doesn't follow the book really, and that's kind of bugging me a little bit with the series. Like I said, I am enjoying it in its own dark way. I feel like I need to re-watch The Handmaid's Tale, the whole series. There's like 5 seasons or something, 5 or 6 seasons. I feel like I need to do a rewatch, which I might do soon. But in the meantime, I picked this up on audiobook. So this is a sequel to The Handmaid's Tale, which was a book that Atwood wrote in the 80s that is set in this dystopian version of America. So in The Handmaid's Tale and The Testaments, there was a coup, and this organisation called the Sons of Jacob took over and stripped everybody of their rights, but particularly women. So it was a very violent coup, and women were sort of sorted into one of 4 categories. You could either be a wife, so a wife to the powerful male elite. You could be a Martha, who are the kind of the women that do the cooking and the cleaning and the manual labour, that kind of stuff within the home. You could be an aunt, who are the kind of female police. They're like in charge of women. They are the ones that train women in whichever sphere they're going to be in. They hand out punishments, all that kind of stuff. Or you could be a handmaid. Handmaids are women who are able to have babies because the birth rate's dropped really dramatically, and they are forced into having babies for the commanders and their wives. And in The Handmaid's Tale, we obviously follow a handmaid called Offred through this world. In this one, which is the sequel, which in the book is set about 10 years later, I think, after the end of The Handmaid's Tale, 15 years later possibly. It's quite a while since the end of The Handmaid's Tale. And one of the things I've done with the TV show is only 4 years after the end of The Handmaid's Tale, which is done because of the direction they took that show in, which makes sense, but it is different to the book. So we're now following two young girls, one who has grown up in Gilead. It's all she remembers. Her name is what is her name? Agatha, what is my brain? And one has grown up in Canada outside of Gilead, and she's called Daisy, and it's about their two different experiences and what happens to Daisy when she ends up going into Gilead, basically as a spy. And then we've also got a third narration, which is Aunt Lydia, she is one of the founders of Gilead, and she is giving us her testament of what happened when Gilead became a thing, and then how she's behaved since and what she's doing at this present time. So it's moving backwards and forwards in time, and we find out how everyone's connected and all that sort of stuff. I really love this. I know this book gets a lot of criticism because of some of the ways, some of Atwood's writing style is not going to be for everybody. I personally love this. I think the audiobook was fantastic. I gave it 4.5 stars. The first time I read it, I gave it 4 stars, but that was before I was doing half stars. And it's not a 5-star, which will be surprising for some, because for me, Handmaid's Tale is one of my favourite books of all time. I've read it probably, I don't know, I don't even want to think how many times I've read it since I studied it at A level. And that I think is better than this one. However, I still love this. And I think it's the ending. Atwood is often criticised for her endings, and this one is quite abrupt, much like The Handmaid's Tale, which makes sense when you think about the situations that the characters are in. So yeah, I gave this 4.5 stars. I would highly recommend the audiobook. Please check content warnings, because this is a brutal world that these characters are living in, and brutal things happen. But yeah, that is one of the books that I finished this month. And then yesterday I finished My Roommate is a Vampire by Jenna Levine. I have been filming a vlog for this over the last couple of days. I will link that underneath if you want to see my full thoughts. This was absolutely fine. I gave it 3.5 stars. It's a romance. The cover and the title tell you literally everything you need to know and everything that happens. It was fine. It was some good kind of tension. There was a little bit of smut. There's like one main smutty scene and then a couple of slightly smaller ones, if that makes sense. It was a quick read. It was fine. 3.5 stars. Then the 2 books that have come in this week, which I'm very excited about, and I do have plans for both of these books. So the first one is The Daisy Chain Flower Shop by Laurie Gilmore, which is the next in the what is this series called? Oh my gosh, someone tell me. Something Harbour series. Where is my brain? Dream Harbour series, honestly. So yeah, this is book number 6 in the Dream Harbour series. Do I know what it's about? No. Did I just order it because it was the next in the Dream Harbour series and I really enjoy it? Yes. Yes, I did, and I'm happy with that. It's a very pretty cover, as they always are. And it just says the greatest love is the one you never expected to find. I'm going to read this soon, so you'll probably see me wrap this up this month. If not, it'll be definitely next month. But I really enjoy Laurie Gilmore's writing. These are quick, fun, easy reads for me. So it was a very quick, easy pre-order. So I've had that come in. And then this one as well, which I'm very excited about, is The Impossible Fortune by Richard Osman. This is the 5th book in the Thursday Murder Club series. This came out last year, but I was waiting for the paperback because I think you can just about see them there. I have these in paperback. So as much as I really desperately wanted the story, I was like, no, I'm not buying it twice. Hardback and then a paperback. I will wait for the paperback. So this is the next book in the Thursday Murder Club series. The previous book, The Man Who Died Twice, I think, made me absolutely sob. No, The Last Devil to Die. The Man Who Died Twice was the second book. The Last Devil to Die made me absolutely sob my eyes out, and was one of my favourite books of the year that I read it. So I've had there's been quite a break between these because he's also writing another series. But I'm so excited to be back with these characters. The Thursday Murder Club is set in a retirement village. We've got 4 characters who live there and they solve crimes. That's all you really need to know. It's cosy, it's dark, check content warnings. It has a lot to say about getting older. And I usually love these. I think the lowest I've given one of these books is 4 stars, so I have really high hopes for this. And like I said, I'll be reading this soon, so you'll probably see it shortly. So that is the bookish update. I've got 15 minutes until I'm due to go live, so I need to go and get myself set up and ready. And then I will come and chat to you probably after the weekend and let you know what I've been reading. It's the 14th of May and it's been a bit of a tricky week. Nothing bad has happened. My brain and I are just not friends at the moment. Also, Jack has taken over where Molly usually sleeps and he's just jumped out of his skin when I started talking, bless him. It's fine, JJ, go back to sleep. He's like looking at me like, what are you doing? Yeah, mental health has not been fantastic this week. I ended up having a panic attack yesterday, which hasn't happened for a while. It's all just stress around next Monday and what's going to happen after that, so I kind of know why it's happening, but yeah, I'm just having to ride it out at the moment, which is also why it's been almost a week since I spoke to you properly, so sorry about that, although I'm sure you won't care. Yeah, it's not much fun in my skull right now. However, we had a good weekend. I'm just looking at my calendar, which tells me what I've been doing. So I think the last time I spoke to you was just before the live show, which was so fun. I really, really enjoyed it. I've got another one planned for this coming Friday. Very chill. People were nice and chatty in the comments, which really helps because otherwise you kind of feel like you're talking to yourself. And yeah, it was nice. I was editing a video and then reading in the hammock. And it's just nice to hang out for a little bit and be a little bit social. So that's going to happen again this Friday. Obviously, by the time this is up, it's already happened. I am aiming to do it every Friday for as long as I can. Obviously, up until I have any more surgeries and stuff. And yeah, it's just a nice chill space. It was good. I really enjoyed that. Then Saturday, we ended up having lunch with mum and grandma, but my brother didn't make it. He's poorly. He lives with a chronic illness, and unfortunately, he couldn't make it, which was a real shame, but one of those things. But yeah, we grabbed grandma and drove an hour or so out and sort of met my mum sort of in the middle-ish at a really nice pub that we've been to before, and had a very lovely lunch. They gave us free pudding because the service was really slow. And it was funny because we weren't in a rush, so it was fine, but also free pudding. Thank you very much. And then Sunday, Gary and I went to Frome flea market, which is the first time we've ever been there. It happens a few times a year. And it was huge. we like going to flea markets and reclamation yards and stuff. A lot of the stuff in our house that you can see behind me is from rec yards. And obviously Gary is going to start his own kind of carpentry, furniture, upcycling kind of business thing. side hustle. So he's now at the point where he is ready to buy a few pieces and start having a go and basically playing around with things. So that's what we were looking for. And yeah, it was good. We were there, I think I managed an hour and a quarter, which is pretty good going for me at the moment. He bought 4 things. 3 things to work on in the workshop, so 3 tables. I think I did B-roll of it, and then we bought another lamp for our house. We have so many lamps, I don't even know where this lamp is going to go, but it was just this beautiful silver one, and it was in such good condition. It was 20 quid. It was like an absolute bargain, so we couldn't leave it there. And then also, I'll show you now, I bought some more coasters. I have 50 kajillion coasters. It's one of those things that I seem to accidentally collect, and like people buy me quite a bit, which is always nice because, you know, you can always do with another coaster. But basically, whilst Gary was chatting to one of the stall holders about different woodwork techniques, I wandered off because for me that's fairly dull fairly quickly. And there was this beautiful art stall a few stalls down from where Gary was chatting, and I got chatting to the owner, and she was just really nice, and I was looking at all of her stuff, and she was really lovely. And then on our way out, I was like, I just want to put back because I want to go and buy something from that lady. I will link her underneath. Her name is Sarah Amit, artist. Let's put that there. I've also followed her on Instagram as well because I really liked her style. So I got 4 coasters because she was running a deal. I only really needed 3. So the random one that I picked up that's different from the others, I'm just making sure it's the right way up. Yeah, is this like modern art one. I just really like the colours in it. I really like the style of it. It just feels cheerful. So I got that one. And then the thing that drew me to her booth was she was selling alphabet coasters. And with a V name, I was intrigued as to what she'd chosen for V, because each letter had 3 or 4 different illustrations around it. And I was like, what has she chosen for V? And that's what started the whole conversation. So I did go back in today, like I said, bought that abstract one. And then I bought 1 each for me, Gary and Charlie, obviously. So G for Gary is this lovely blue with the goat, the grapes, the grasshopper, and the guinea pig, which just made me laugh. And you know, he is the goat, so got that for him. The Charlie one couldn't have been more perfect if I designed it myself, because it's this one. Charlie's favourite colour is red. He loves KFC. Sorry, chickens. He plays chess really well. He loves cats, obviously, and cake is always a good idea. So I'm hoping, even though he's 16 and too old for alphabet coasters, I'm hoping it will at least make him smile when he arrives this weekend. And then for V, which is the whole thing that kicked it off, she went with this lovely violet colour. Really love it. Volcano, vase, and a violin. So yeah, because we got chatting, I was like, I have to now go and buy something from her, and support a small business and all of that good stuff. So yeah, like I said, I'll link her underneath. She was so lovely, and I really liked loads of her stuff, but that was all I could afford that day. So yeah, that was really nice. And then Monday I baked brownies amongst like my usual like Monday chores, housework and stuff. A bit of housework. I don't do much, but I do a bit. And I baked brownies for Gary's work people. Then Tuesday I took them in. He's been in his job almost a year and I've never met any of them. And they have been super, super kind and supportive of him and me whilst we've been going through all this medical stuff, and allowed him to have as much time off as he needs without any like stress or hassle or guilt, which is, you know, definitely to be thankful for. So it was nice to go in and 1, meet them, and 2, be able to say thank you properly in person. And apparently they very much enjoyed the brownies, so that was good. And then yeah, yesterday I was supposed to run an errand. Basically, this is boring life stuff, but our sofa cushions are knackered and we don't want to replace the whole sofa because the sofa's fine and the covers are fine. We just want to replace the foam inserts. Trying to do that is way more difficult than it should be. But I finally found somewhere that is a bit of a drive, but I have to take the entire sofa cushions to them in my little car to be measured. I was supposed to do that yesterday, and I woke up and I was just like, yeah, this is not happening. So I won't get into the gory details because I know I don't want to trigger anybody, but a panic attack was had, which always is just obviously not a fun time. And I spent most of the rest of the day curled up on the sofa under my blanket watching Friends and texting Charlotte and going, ugh, why is my brain doing this? But we feel a bit better today. I'm upright at least. I'm going to film the off-the-shelf book tag, which hopefully you've seen by the time this goes up. And I also launched my bookmarks today. Bookmarks went live today, which is very exciting. I'm already getting sales. I don't know why, it always catches me off guard. I'm always like, nobody's going to buy these, they're just going to sit there. And actually they're already selling really well. So if you are interested, it's linked as always underneath. So that's really fun. What else is going on? I think that's pretty much everything that's happening. So let's talk about books. I've got 3 books I finished, and then I've got a box of stuff from the lovely Becky, who said, oh, I've got something to send you. And I was like, oh, that's really nice. And then this massive box arrived. So I don't know what's in there. We'll find out together in a minute. But let's do books first. So the next book that I finished since I spoke to you was Book Lovers by Emily Henry. This was for, what was I reading this for? The Reading Spa that Kerry and Jen are running. My prompt this month was to read a romance, so I picked up this one. I think this was Charlotte at Queenie Reads. Yeah, lovely Charlotte from Queenie Reads gifted this to me back in January. So I was like, cool, this is my oldest romance on my shelf, so I will pick that one up. And I gave it 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed this. On the surface, this is about, what is her name? Nora and Charlie, and they're kind of enemies to lovers, like journey, I guess. They both work in publishing. She's an agent, he's an editor. And before the start of, at the start of the book, sorry, they basically have a falling out or like a miscommunication, and each of them thinks the other one hates them. And then we skip forward a couple of years later, and they are forced to work together because one of Nora's authors needs an editor. Charlie's going to be the editor. At the same time, Nora's little sister, whose name I can't remember and now can't find, says to her, is pregnant with a third child, and says, look, nothing much happens in New York during August. Can we go away for a month? I really just need a break before this baby comes. And so they go to the little town where Nora's biggest client's book is set. And who do they bump into there on the first day but Charlie? And it goes from there. And yeah, I gave this 4.5 stars. I've said this already about another one of Emily Henry's books. I can't remember which one it was. These are, I think it was Beach Read. These are kind of marketed as like cute, fluffy romances. But actually, I found that a couple of them have really got something way more kind of serious to say. And so it's kind of surprised me each time. And I was really emotionally attached to Nora. I really liked the dynamic between Nora and Charlie, but really it was about the relationship between the sisters. And Nora is the eldest. Their mum passed away when Nora and her sister were still quite young. Nora was like a young teen. Why can't I find the sister's name? That was going to bug me. But Libby is her sister. And so Nora was kind of thrust into this kind of parent role for her sister. And it's about them kind of working out their dynamic in their relationship as adults and what they actually need from each other. And yeah, I really, really enjoyed this. So 4.5 stars. It's a good sign that my voice is going. I haven't even filmed the tag yet, but anyway. Then I picked up Roaring Girls by Holly Kite. This was my reread for the month, and also counted as reread for Chloe's readathon, which I'm doing, the vampire readathon. I think I'll do like a little wrap up at the end of this vlog for the books I've read for that, but that counted for that. This is a non-fiction, and as it says, the extraordinary lives of history's unsung heroes. I first read this a few years ago when I was up in Edinburgh. I gave it 4 stars then, and I'm going to leave it at 4 stars. Thoroughly enjoyed this. If you don't read a lot of non-fiction and want to read more non-fiction, this is really fun and accessible and quick. It's basically little sections on different women. So we've got them here. So we've got Mary Frith, the Roaring Girl, Margaret Cavendish, Mad Madge, Mary Astle, Old Maid, Charlotte Clark, Chark and Cavalier, Hannah Snell, the Amazon, Mary Prince, Goods and Chattels, Anne Lister, Gentleman Jack, and Caroline Norton, A Painted Woman. And yeah, I just think that Holly Kite does a really great job of bringing those women back to life and telling us about them. And yeah, I would highly recommend this one. Like I said, if you don't read lots of non-fiction because you're worried it's going to be dry, don't be worried. This is really readable. And then lastly, so far, I finished Frankie by J.M. Gutsch and Maxim Leo, and then it's translated from the German by Sharon Howe. And lovely Joy, my friend, gifted me this a while ago. And this counted in my readathon as animal POV, because it's very much in Frankie's POV. And also for Chloe's readathon for animal on the cover. So it was pulling double duty. And this is about Frankie. I gave this 4 stars. This is about Frankie. We're in his point of view. and he's a talking cat. So that's the first thing. And basically he goes into what he thinks is an abandoned house one day, and he finds a man there, which is Richard. And Richard is struggling with life. And it's just basically about life from Frankie's perspective. They go on a couple of adventures, a few things happen. Quite a lot happens given that it's under 200 pages, 178 pages, really short. And you're just in Frankie's point of view. I thought this was really fun. It was charming. It was quite emotional. I've never read a Frederick Buckman book, but from what other people have said, I think this is probably a similar tone. Check content warnings. I did really enjoy it. It didn't give me quite the emotional response I was expecting, and I feel like the kind of pace lagged a little bit in the middle, but I did really enjoy this. I'm glad I got to read it, so thank you, Joy, for sending this to me. And yeah, those are the books that I have read since I last spoke to you. Let's, without putting anybody's address on the internet, just upside down again, open this box. Obviously I've opened the top because of addresses and stuff, but I haven't looked inside, so let's try and do this. She's so lovely. This is what I'm looking at. Okay, trying to make sure her address doesn't end up on the internet or mine. Lovely card to start with. She's got such nice handwriting. Oh, stickers. How exciting. Ooh, black cat. This is so nice. Okay. Oh, she's written a really long, lovely message. I will read that separately in a second because that's not for the internet. But she's also sent me some stickers. Look at these. That does actually mirror Jack's expression right now. I suspect from what she said online over the last couple of days that she might have designed these herself. I didn't realise that she used to have an Etsy. Yes, that's all about. But she mentioned online on Instagram this week that she had an Etsy store. So Becky, did you make these? Illustrate these. These are very cool. So yeah, thank you for that. Okay, let's see what's in. Oh my gosh, Becky. Okay. Yeah, okay. Feeling a little bit emotional. Let's have a look at what we have. This is very exciting and very lovely and not at all necessary. It's very, very kind. Okay, so we've got 2 hot chocolate spoons. Oh, this is exciting. So we've got a hazelnut flavour and we've got a caramel flavour. I really love these, so that's very exciting. We will use those probably soon. I'm gonna make some space now. I'm just grabbing things at random. There's something very soft in here. Ooh, is it a tote bag? Let's see. Can't get in. There we go. Oh yeah, I think it is a tote bag. Okay. Oh, look at this. It's such a lovely design. The outline of the cat. So simple. Obviously we love a tote bag. Always a good time. And this is a really lovely one. So again, thank you so much. Gosh. Okay, I'm already spoiled and there's loads more stuff in here. Oh, okay. Oh, a bookmark. Well, I'm going to use it as a bookmark. So in case you don't know, Becky knits and crochets and sews and generally is very crafty and amazing at making things, and does lovely vlogs about that and books. So I would really recommend her if you want kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? If you want crafting content and you want bookish content, Becky's a really good person to go and watch. She's very calming. I quite often have her videos on just when I'm pottering around. And yeah, I suspect she's made me that, which, as we know, I love a handmade gift. So thank you very much. I'm assuming it's a bookmark given the shape. But I'm going to use it as such. Oh, this is On Cats, an anthology introduced by Margaret Atwood. I did not know this existed. This is very exciting. So it says on the back, I have put myself on a list for 2 Siberian kittens. I will have cat hammocks. I will have scratching posts. I will not allow myself to be distressed by shredded upholstery, writes Margaret Atwood in her introduction to this illustrated anthology. For thousands of years, cats have been venerated and mistrusted in equal measure. Through memoir, fiction, letters and poems, the writers in these pages celebrate cats and their curious ways. As Hemingway wrote, one cat leads to another, doesn't it always? Includes contributions from Alice Walker, Edward Gorey, Mary Gateskill, Caitlin Moran, Ernest Hemingway, Nikola Tesla, John Keats, Muriel Sparks, Leanne Truss, Hilaire Belloc, I apologise if I'm saying these names wrong, Rebecca West and more. That looks really lovely, thank you. And that's really exciting. Oh, the like little dedication says, cats are intended to teach us that not everything in nature has a purpose. Yeah. Okay, I'm very much looking forward to that, having a read of that. This just goes on. And then, oh, book, postcards. Yeah, this is Becky's. These are Becky's designs. So that obviously is the same as the sticker. I love this. How cross does that owl look? I love it, with his little monocle and his top hat. And then the frog. Love frog stuff. Thank you so much, Becky. Those are really beautiful. I might frame those and put them somewhere. I can see it in the book, which I already knew was coming because she told me not to buy this particular book anyway. Oh, and there's another milk chocolate spoon. This one's got marshmallows in it. Very exciting. Might have to hide that from Charlie because he'll nab that otherwise. And then, gosh, she sent me Cleopatra by Sarah L. Arafi, which was put on my radar by Becky because she read it recently and really enjoyed it. Also, I was definitely one of those, Jack's now stretching behind me. I was definitely one of those kids who was obsessed with ancient Egypt. This is going to go well with filming today. Egypt. There we go. At school. And Cleopatra particularly. And because we don't really know much about her, and like it says on the back, you know my name, but you do not know me. I'm going to have to read this really soon. I've had some really, I've had some really good reviews of this book. Look at, that's absolutely gorgeous. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to be reading this very, very soon. Very excited to give this a read. And I don't think I've read anything by this author before, which is terrible. Thank you so much, Becky. I'm very, very, very grateful for all of this. I'm very excited to read that. Yeah, now feel a bit overwhelmed and emotional. So I'm going to film a video. Great. Yeah, and I will come back when something bookish happens. It's the 19th of May and I'm now trying to remember if I was wearing this in the last clip. If I was, I have washed it since. We're in this weird time of the year where I'm like, do I need a jumper? Do I need a sundress? I don't know. So I'm wearing a lot of the same things and this is getting a lot of wear. So if I was wearing it, I probably should have checked before I pressed record. It has been washed. Also, I'm going to put a medical content warning on this clip, or the first part of this clip, because I saw the surgeons yesterday and I am going to talk about medical stuff, operations, results, all that sort of thing. So if you are not interested, or if you would find that upsetting, please skip forward until I'm holding Weird Sisters by Tara Pratchett. Spoiler, this was the next book that I read. So yeah, if that's not for you, that's absolutely fine. Just skip forward because I am going to talk about it a little bit here. As I said a few times, I have also been filming like a specific vlog kind of all of this. I'm not sure if that's going to ever see the light of day. I haven't actually been able to bring myself to rewatch those clips yet. And also the last time I updated it was the day before surgery, which was 4 months ago. But it was helpful for me to kind of get it out in the form of talking it through. So we'll see if that ever makes the light of day. But I did want to talk about it here because these vlogs include life stuff and this is a big part of my life stuff right now. I also have Jack having a bath just to my right. So I'm sorry if you can hear that noise. Okay, so Gary and I went to Bristol yesterday, met with my surgeon and her team, and I had a look at my MRI results. And for anyone who's new here, I was diagnosed with a Chiari malformation type 1 last summer. I'll put a link to the NHS website if you want to have a look at what that is. There's nothing scary on the NHS website, by the way. There's no like scary pictures. There's diagrams, but there's nothing scary to look at. So if you are interested but worried about that, don't be. which basically means that the bottom of my brain is longer than it should be, and because of a bout of whooping cough that I had 2 years ago, basically the bottom of my brain has dropped down lower than it should be. It's interfering with the flow of my brainstem, and so it is bringing loads of pain, nausea, brain fog, confusion, problems with my hands and feet, a whole load of stuff. Like I said, I'll link the actual NHS information down below because I'm obviously not a doctor, but every single thing, when I got diagnosed, I obviously looked it up, and I am literally every single one of those issues or symptoms, it's like a 10 out of 10 checkbox, unfortunately. So in January this year, I had skull decompression surgery, where they removed part of the back of my skull and part of my first vertebrae to create more space, with the idea that my brain would then move backwards into that extra space and come away from the brainstem and stop all these symptoms. Surgery didn't work. We were given 50-50 odds, and I knew it hadn't worked because once I got through recovery from the surgery, which took about, I think it was 8 weeks, around week 10, I was like, I'm fully recovered from the surgery, I'm back on my feet, my wound is completely healed, I've got a very small, surprisingly small and tidy scar. My surgeon is an absolute artist, clearly, but I'm having exactly the same symptoms that I was having in December. So I knew where this was going. However, you always have to go through the process. So I had an MRI at the end of March, and then we had the follow-up appointment yesterday. So we've been waiting a long time. I love our NHS. It is one of the best things about our country, in my opinion. I am deeply, deeply grateful for it, but waiting is hard, especially when your whole life is on hold. I can't work right now. I've been out of work or signed off of work since October, and there have been like stressful conversations happening recently about how sustainable that is. It obviously impacts financially because work only have to give a certain amount of months of full pay, and I know I'm very lucky to have had even that. So I'm now having to navigate the benefit system, so it's all just tough. It's tough on top of dealing with symptoms, and then other life stuff. Life continues, other people have stuff happening, both good things like family weddings that we've had, and really stressful things that are happening to other people that I kind of touched on before, but I would not talk about here because it's not the place to do that. But there's other, it's not just me in a little bubble dealing with this. There's other stuff, life continues. So yeah, it's been really hard. I don't want to get emotional and tearful on the internet, not in this vlog anyway. I'll save that for the brain vlogs. So yes, we sat in the office yesterday with my amazing surgeon, who is so lovely, and it's a bit complicated. And I won't get into all of it because it's not all that interesting. But the short version is, it didn't work. 50-50 odds, I was unlucky. And it was like, okay. So we now move into the second surgery. This surgery is far bigger. It is riskier. All surgery is risky, obviously. But when you are cutting away part of the brain, which is what they'll be doing, they'll be basically removing the malformed part of my brain, which doesn't have any function. She's described it, my surgeon's described it before as the appendix of the brain, because it has no function. It just sits there, gets in the way, and occasionally tries to kill you. So they'll remove it and do a few other things and basically create more space so that the channels in my brainstem can then be open and flow properly, and hopefully some, if not all, of my symptoms will go away. It is not going to be an immediate fix. Recovery is 6 months long. There'll be an expected hospital stay of about 2 weeks, mostly because of infection risks, and they want to obviously closely monitor me, which I am all for. And then a 6-month recovery at home after that. I have been warned it will be unpleasant and it will be painful, but it's my only option. Because the other option is do nothing and continue as I am, and I can't work and I can't function properly, and I'm on a lot of medication all the time, and we need to try. So I am on the waiting list. It could be any time, but realistically, probably in the next 2 to 3 months, we'll get a date. Hopefully in the next sort of month or so we'll get a date, and then that date will be in 2 to 3 months time, and then that'll be the next step. By the time this goes up, I will have talked about it on Instagram and probably on my community tab here, so you guys will know what's going on. And I've talked about it all the way through because, one, it helps me to say it out loud. Two, I feel like the more we talk about this stuff, the less scary it is. Obviously, everyone has the right to privacy and the right to talk about what they want and not talk about what they want. I'm not saying everyone should or has to, but I found it really hard to find other people who have been through these surgeries, particularly in the UK. And if I can help people by chatting nonsense on the internet, obviously I will. And I have had messages. I've had people email me, leave comments, message me on Instagram saying, oh, I've had that surgery, my sister's had that surgery, whoever has had that surgery, this is what it was like for them. I've also had people message me and say, I'm about to go through this, what do I need to know? Obviously everybody is different. I am not a medical professional, but if I can offer a few helpful tips, then that's all to the good. So yeah, I have been open about it and talking about it, and I plan to continue to do that. In terms of the channel, and obviously we won't know when this is until we know when the surgery is going to be, I am going to take quite a long break from YouTube. Probably 3 months is what I'm thinking, but it will depend on how everything goes and any complications. Just because, well, I'm not going to be in any fit state to make content. And I want to make sure I'm putting stuff up that I'm happy with, and I also don't want the pressure of it. I love making content, which is why I've continued to do it through this really weird period of my life. But I'm well aware that I'm going to need to be just, dropping basically everything and just focusing on recovery. So I plan to be sort of tootling about still on Instagram and in my Discord, but this channel will go quiet for 3 months or so. But I will make a video about that, particularly when it happens, because again, I know there are some people who are like, oh, you don't need to announce it when you take a break, but I want to be open and honest on what's going on. I don't want to just leave you guys hanging and wondering what's happened. And it just, for me, it feels like the right thing to do. It's kind of like leaving an out of office message. So yeah, so that's what's been going on. That's nearly 10 minutes of talking, and I've not talked about a single book. But that happened yesterday, and that's what we were expecting. So it wasn't a surprise. It's obviously a bit different when there's a surgeon in front of you actually talking about what they're going to do. But we just need to get on with it. We're obviously keen to have it done as soon as possible so that our lives could hopefully at some point go back to normal. Hoping kind of by Christmas to be, if not back to normal, headed that way. But we will see what happens. So yeah, today I am tired. I'm feeling very drained, which is as to be expected. I slept like an absolute log last night. We got back at about 7 because we were over in Bristol and came out of the appointment. And it's like, well, we need dinner because I have to eat at quite specific times because of medications, and we didn't want to sit in Bristol traffic, so we found the nearest lounge, of course we did, and sat and had some food and talked it all over and drafted messages to family and all that kind of stuff. And it's Monday, so one thing I didn't know at the lounge is they do free pudding, free desserts on a Monday, free alcoholic drink or free pudding. I can't drink at the moment. Gary was driving, so we had a free pudding, which is rather nice. And then by the time we got home, it was about 7:15. The cats were very cross because we were 2 hours late for their dinner, so I fed them quickly and then just went to bed and crashed straight out. I'm feeling very tired today. However, it is my English faculty's like once a term we go out for food after work, and today is term 5's meetup, so I'm going to go and drive down to the town where I teach. I've not driven over there since October, because they have been like coming this way so that I could join them, but now that I'm able to drive and stuff, it's fine. I'm going to drive to them, so it feels a bit weird. Feels a little bit, I almost feel like I'm doing something wrong, even though I'm not. I know I'm not, but it will be really good to see them. I've got a gigantic box of books to take for the library, most of which Charlotte sent us ages ago, like possibly before Christmas. So I'm going to take those to give to my lovely librarian friend so she can put them in the library for the kids, and see them. And it's likely to be the last time that I'm actually there as a faculty member. But we will see what happens with that. Like I said, there's conversations happening. I'm being fully supported by my union and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's kind of a bittersweet day today. But that's what's happening. And then, what day is tomorrow? Tomorrow's Wednesday. I have declared that a rest day tomorrow, so I won't be getting dressed or going out or doing very much. I'll mostly just be napping, reading, laying on the sofa, that kind of stuff. And then Thursday, I'm going to go and film a come with me video, explore with me video, which hopefully would have gone up by the time this goes up. I'm not going to say in case I changed my mind because I was supposed to film it last week and then didn't. But yeah, I'm hoping to go and do a little explore with me on Thursday. And then Friday, Gary and I leave in the afternoon for 3 days away. We've booked a very cute cabin type thing. It's on a farm down in Devon for 3 days. Could we afford it? Not really. But we need to get out of this house. So I'm very excited about it. We've got 3 whole days because it's a bank holiday weekend. And obviously I'll do B-roll and stuff. So yeah, that's what's happening over the next couple of days. I haven't got anything planned for next week yet because basically everything was waiting on yesterday's meeting. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I've now waffled for 13 minutes and I've not talked about any books. Okay, so that's all the medical updates and life updates stuff that's happening. So let's talk about books. So the next book that I finished, let me get my trusty bingo board up, which as you can see, spoiler, I've only got one left, which is my non-fiction, which I'm currently reading. So the next book that I picked up was Weird Sisters by Terry Pratchett. So this was for the Read Good challenge for this month, which was to read a book published before 2000, the year 2000. This was published in the 80s, I think. So this was a very easy choice. Where is the thing where it tells me when it's been published? Originally published, in 1988, so the year after I was born. This gorgeous edition, I mean, I love these hardbacks, they are so pretty. I mean, like, look at the spine. Was gifted, I think, was this Emma? I feel like it was. Yeah, it was. Lovely Emma. A while ago. And basically this book has been the topic of much discussion in my Discord because I keep trying to read Terry Pratchett books and I can't find the ones that work for me. So after much discussion, people on my Discord decided that I should start with Weird Sisters. And this is one of the witches books, obviously. And I can't really tell you much about it. I enjoyed it. I gave it 3.5 stars. I didn't love it. There are lots of Shakespeare references, specifically Macbeth, which you know straight away because on the back it says, "When shall we three meet again?" Well, I can do next Tuesday. And that kind of sets the tone. It's about the witches, it's about a prophecy, it's about a king, it's about murder. There's loads of shenanigans going on. I did enjoy it. I just didn't love it, and I really want to love Terry Pratchett books. However, I would like to try the next one in the Witches series, the name of which I cannot remember, but I have got it reserved on audiobook. I think that comes in September. So I will keep going with this particular part of this series. And like I said, it's a very beautiful edition. So thank you very much, Emma. So that was a 3.5. And like I said, that was for the Ben's Reads Good challenge. I cannot talk today. And also for Chloe's readathon, it was for a book that has magic because obviously they're witches. So I read that one. Then I picked up Hemlock and Silver by T. Kingfisher, which I read for retelling on my bingo board. And on Chloe's one, it was for oldest book on your TBR or a book that's been on your TBR a long time. I think the actual prompt is called Family Heirloom because this is the oldest book on my TBR because I got this in the January Waterstones hardback sale. So I have read one other T. Kingfisher, the name of which I now can't remember. It's the one where it's a horror one, contemporary horror, where she goes to clear out her grandmother's house. It was okay. I didn't think it was scary enough. I think I gave it 2 stars. However, T. Kingfisher, again, is a very, very popular author, particularly the people on my Discord. So I really wanted to try again. And so when I saw this in the hardback sale, I was like, I'm going to get it. Also because it's a retelling. If you can't tell, it is a Snow White retelling. And And also Brittany, this was like one of her favourite books, I think, of last year. She really talked really highly of this. So I was like, okay, if I'm going to enjoy any T. Kingfisher, it's probably this one. And like I said, I needed a retelling for the bingo board. Picked this up, gave it 3.5 stars. So that was great. I mean, 3.5 is not a bad score. It just means that, like, I appreciated it. Jack's not having a scratch, sorry. It means that I appreciated it and liked it, but I just didn't love it. I wasn't excited about it. However, I did give it 3.5. So in this, we are following, what is her name? Anya, who is a healer. And she is summoned to the castle by the king because his daughter Snow appears to be slowly dying of poison. Jack, do you mind? But they can't work out. No one seems to be able to work out who or what is poisoning her. And so Anya, who is a poison specialist, is brought in to try and work it out. And it goes from there. This was fun. It is supposed to be funny because the first few chapters I read it and then I looked it up. I was like, am I supposed to be laughing? It is supposed to be like a dark comedy. I really liked Anya, who's our main character, and I liked the fantastical elements of this. Obviously, I'm not gonna get into any spoilers. It felt a little bit to me, a little bit kind of jumbled as to what it was trying to do, but I kind of came away from it overall of like, yeah, I liked that. I'm not going to read it again. Am I going to remember it? Probably not. So I gave it 3.5 stars. I can see why other people like this. It just didn't quite catch me. Then I picked up, I was like, I need something random, weird, different. I also needed something for multiple POV for my reading challenge and also for Chloe's. So I picked up Butcher and Blackbird by Bryn Weaver, which is book 1 in there's a particular series this is. Is it like, is it going to be in here? In the Ruinous Love trilogy. So that gives you a bit of a clue of what this is like. This was sent by the lovely Emma a little while ago. So thank you, Emma. I saw Kat at Brews and Reviews. Was it Kat? Yes, talk about this series, I think last year. It's been all over the Booknet. It's very popular on TikTok, all that kind of stuff. This is a dark, dark romance thriller-ish. It's sort of like Sweet Pea, if she had an accomplice. And we know that I enjoy dark stuff. We know that I enjoy female rage. This has a 1.5 pages of content warnings, just to kind of like set the tone. And I came away from this like, I don't know what I just read, and I'm not quite sure how I felt about it, but I gave it 4 stars. It is messed up. Like I said, it's very dark. I will not be eating cookies and cream ice cream for the rest of my life. If you've read this book, you'll know why. But I also really liked the characters, and I was finding myself cheering for them and then thinking, you can't cheer for them because of what they spend a lot of their time doing. So in this, we have basically 2 serial killers who bump into each other one day at a kill site, and they decide to set up a competition, and they get into basically a competition to kill other serial killers, and it becomes a romance. And by the end, I was fully on board and hoping they were going to get a happily ever after. So Bryn Weaver is clearly a very skilled writer, because they are 2 seriously messed up people that you should not be cheering on, and yet you are by the end. So yeah, I'd really like to read the next one, which I think is called Leather and Lace. It's a trilogy. I think I said that already. Leather and Lark is the next one, and then Scythe and Sparrow. And we also meet the other couples I think are going to be in the 2nd and 3rd books. So yeah, I really like the writing style. I flew through it. I read it in about 24 hours. Joy and I were going to buddy read this month, but various things got in the way, which is absolutely fine. And to be honest, I read it so probably too fast to buddy read of it. Yeah, dark and messed up. Check your content warnings. If you can handle them, I would recommend it. There we go. And then finally, not for my challenge, but for Chloe's, I needed a book that had a competition in it. And my hold on Libby came through for a reread on audiobook of Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. Like I said, I read this via audio. This is a 5-star read. It was one of my favourite books of last year. I'll be rereading this again in October before the film comes out in November, medical stuff allowing. I think this book is fantastic. I have waxed lyrical about this book. The whole Booknet was waxing lyrical about this book last year when it came out. It will happen again when the film comes out, like I said, in November. This is a prequel to the original trilogy in which we follow Haymitch. Haymitch in the original trilogy is, I've lost the word now. he's a mentor for Katniss when she goes into her games. And in the original trilogy, he is a wreck of a human. He is an alcoholic, he is unreliable, he is horrible, and we find out why in this book. We go back to when he is 16, and we're in a dystopian world, just in case you haven't heard of Hunger Games. Not sure, might be a first day on Earth. We are in a dystopian future version of what was America, and every year basically the country has been split into 12 districts and the capital. Each of the 12 districts every year to send 2 children, one boy, one girl, I think between the ages of 12 and 18, to fight to the death in the arena for the kind of entertainment of the people in the capital. And we follow Haymitch through his games. This is heartbreaking. It is so well written. There are so many kind of Easter eggs for the original trilogy, and threads to things, and things you're like, oh, that is why that happened later on, and why this person was like that. Absolutely a 5-star read. The first time is staying at 5-star. I absolutely love this. I love this as much as the original trilogy, which is saying a lot because I really hated Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which was the book that came before this one. So yeah, that was a 5-star, easy peasy 5-star read. So that's the update, that's the books. And then somehow I've got another parcel to open, because my friends are just absolutely gorgeous humans. So this is from Joy. I know it's from Joy. Obviously I've cut it open so that you don't have to watch me flail around with that on camera. She said she was sending me some books, but there's other stuff in there, which is very naughty of her, and also obviously lovely. So let's have a look at this. I obviously just see. Oh yeah, she said, oh, the books I promised I'd send you, and I'd forgotten what the books were, which I do all the time, and now I can see what they were, so that's very exciting. So this is what we've got. So she said, Victoria, enjoyed the books. I thought the fidget toy may help in the next few days. Lots of love, Joy. It's on this very cheerful banana note pad. This is cool. Okay, so this is a fidget. What does this do? Oh, it's a clicky one. I haven't got any clicky ones yet. Oh, that is soothing. Although I'm gonna have to use this when I'm alone, because that noise will absolutely send my husband. That is really lovely. So just give you a little close up. It's very cute. Okay, that's exciting. And a bookmark. So a book is a dream that you hold in your hands. This is from the Works. Look how shiny. We all know how much I love a bookmark. And then 3 books that I'd totally forgotten that she promised me. So we got 2 Kaylin Byrons and a Katie Burnett. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Okay, so The Poison Heart by Kaylin Byron is another Snow White retelling. I've read Cinderella is Dead, and I've got another one which is a Frankenstein retelling up on my shelves that I'm very excited to read by this author, so that's exciting, which is obviously why Joy sent these to me. And then also The Wicked Fate by Kaylin Byron. I don't know what this one is. So to save the people she loves, she must make her power blossom. Oh, okay. With dark forces and deadly botanicals descending around her, Bree must harness her power and to change the most dangerous of fates ahead of her, and her enemies won't make it easy. So that looks really intriguing. So obviously 2 nice easy reads. And then I forgot this one was going to be in this box. This is Beth is Dead by Katie Burnett, which is a retelling of Little Women, I think. Yeah, let's read the back of this together. Look at this cover. Obsessed. Beth March has been murdered and all her sisters are suspects. On New Year's Day, after a wild house party, Beth is found dead in the woods. Jo, Amy and Meg are determined to unmask the killer. But as each of the girls' own potential motives are uncovered, the March sisters discover they may not all be as sweet as they seem. So I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's quite long. And this is already 25 minutes long. But I'm very excited for that. I'm excited for all 3 of them. And yeah, it's always good to have more retellings on my shelf. So thank you so much, Joy. And that is the clip. So I am going to tidy this all up. I need to go to Tesco's to pick up my medication, because of course I do. I feel like I'm there like every week getting meds. I got a few bits and pieces to do today just to kind of keep me occupied. And then off for dinner with my faculty this evening, which I won't film any B-roll for because they don't know I do YouTube. I'm always too scared to film stuff, but it will be happening. And then I'll be back in the next few days, hopefully, to update you on more reading. It's the 22nd of May and it is hot. And I knew this was going to happen. I think I said it to you in the last clip. Obviously, I'm coming to you with wet hair and in my pyjamas. But yeah, it's suddenly like 28 degrees. And I am not coping very well. I went out to Bradford on Avon yesterday and filmed the vlog that hopefully you've seen. I'll link it underneath before this goes up. Had a lovely time. Got a bit of a sunburn. I have got after sun and stuff on it, which was silly of me. But it was like overcast. I just wasn't expecting it to be that warm. But anyway, it's boiling. So that's fun. Gary and I are off on our adventure today. Once he gets home this afternoon, we're going to go to Devon for 3 days and I'm so freaking excited. I'll obviously take B-roll. I'm not promising to film much because I would just very much like to relax with my favourite person and not be worrying about anything. Not that I worry about vlogging, but you know what I mean. I'll take what I can and we'll see what I get. But I wanted to come in and film this clip partly to break up the B-roll, but also because I have actually finished 2 books yesterday, which feels like a bit of a miracle. My reading has slowed down, it feels like, she says, with 2 books that she's finished in the last couple of days. I don't know, it just feels a little bit slumpy, but we're going to try and save it off. Anyway, the next book that I finished completed my reading challenge. So yes, I did complete my own reading challenge. Round of applause from everybody. Obviously, I'll wait for the applause. Clearly not, that was a bit cringe. Anyway, that was my last prompt, which was non-fiction, and so I picked up Jane Austen's Bookshelf by Rebecca Romney. This was highly recommended by so many people. It was gifted, I want to say, no, it's from Andrea. I'm reading my way out, thank you so much. So many people I know have loved this book. I know that Milena, I think, had this in her best books of last year list. I'm sorry, I don't know why the cover is a little bit bent. I think it's supposed to be because I was reading it outside and it might have melted slightly. Can that happen? I don't know, but I'll flatten it, it'll be fine. So yeah, I saw loads of people absolutely love this. I gave this 4 stars. This is very much what it says on the tin. This is the women writers who shaped a legend. So Rebecca Romney is looking at the women writers, specifically women authors, who inspired Jane Austen, and particularly the ones that have kind of disappeared either completely or partially from like the popular canon. This was really interesting. I like the way it was written. The text is absolutely tiny. If I went back to this, I might do audiobook instead if there is one. I don't know if one exists. But I did enjoy this. It was a really interesting angle to look at Jane Austen from. And if you liked, oh my gosh, I can't remember what the name of the author is now. But if you like the Jane Austen at Home book, you'll like this one. Yeah, it was really interesting. Like I said, gave it 4 stars. Then yesterday, whilst I was out and about, I took with me The Daisy Chain Flower Shop by Laurie Gilmore. You just watched me open this because this arrived this month, which means I've got 1 more book that came this month I haven't read yet, but that's my next read, so I will be reading that before the end of the month. This is book 6 in the Dream Harbour series, and in it we are following Daisy and Elliot. Why can I never remember the guy's name? Don't know what that says about me. Yeah, and we're in Dream Harbour. Like I said, this is book 6. They're all kind of connected stories, but you can read them in any order. And Daisy is running her family's flower shop. She has had an absolutely disastrous love life. She's already been married once and been divorced. She was then engaged to a guy who then broke it off with her. And in the first chapter of this, she is in her shop and her ex, so the ex-fiance, walks into her flower shop with his new fiance because they're looking at wedding venues in the town. And I'm like, how did you not just punch him straight in the face? Like, I just... but Daisy obviously panics, and I've lost his name again, Elliot. Elliot walks in behind this couple, and Daisy pretends that Elliot is her new boyfriend, and Elliot goes along with it. And so they kind of fake date, and Elliot's also dealing with the breakdown and divorce of his last relationship, and they're both kind of feeling like they are terrible at relationships. So they kind of decide to fake date, partly to help each other out, and also obviously then it kind of goes from there. I really liked this. Like I said, I gave it 4 stars. It's very much he falls first, which is a trope I really enjoy. It sort of feels like a second chance romance, but like not between the couple. They're like giving themselves a second chance at a relationship, if that makes sense. I really enjoy being in the town, which I've just said like loads of times and I can't remember what it's called. We're going to blame my meds today. Dream Harbour. And it was really fun. It is probably one of the least spicy ones. There's only a couple of spicy scenes, and they're definitely towards the end because it's very slow burn on that side of things. But I really like the relationship between the two. It was cute. I think I was missing it. Like, Daisy's not really one of the main circle of friends that we follow, and so we saw them a little bit, but it didn't feel as immersed in Dream Harbour as I would have liked. But I did enjoy it. This for me counted for Chloe's readathon, which I've now got here. I couldn't print out her board, so I've just literally written it down, which is not as exciting. But yeah, I use this for featuring a society or council because there are like town meetings, which are always hilarious. So yeah, I really like this. If you like the others, you'll like this one. Nothing particularly spectacular about it, but it was an easy, fun, spicy time. So that's the next book I read. And then yeah, I'm now into rolling, as you saw in the B-roll, for the rest of my books for the month. I'm reading the next Richard Osman book, which you saw me open, I've already lost the name of, which is going to be my featuring a friendship. And then I rolled and got continuous series, so I'm going to read the next Scandal book. And then I got a different setting, and I picked, you saw the book that I picked, it's a book about libraries or something, book about books, which I think is going to be a different setting, if that counts. So according to StoryGraph, I'm already 55% through Chloe's readathon. I don't think I'm going to finish it. No, we've got a week left, and I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more reads. I'm not going to finish it, but I am going to get as far through as possible. And also just rolling for reads is really fun. So plan for the rest of today, I've got some kind of admin-y stuff. I need to finish the Bath and Haven vlog, get that ready to go up. I need to pack. I need to get the cat sorted out because our cat and house sitter is coming in, so I need to get everything set up for her. And then I'm going to get in my husband's truck, and we are going to go for 3 days of relaxing, switching off, and having a good time. It's the 28th of May. We are on day 6 of the heat wave and I am over it. I always enjoy a nice bit of sunshine, but I always struggle with heat. But 3 of my 6 main medications can cause like problems with heat and heat stroke and stuff. So I have not been very impressed the last couple of days. We did have a lovely weekend away, first of all, before I start with my whinging. As you'll hopefully seen, Jack's over there cleaning his leg. From the B-roll, we had an absolutely fantastic couple of days away. I'll link the Airbnb that we used underneath because the hosts were really lovely. It was beautiful, as you saw. It was really well stocked. We had everything we needed, and we just had a really nice couple of days pottering about. Sorry if there's loud background noise. I absolutely cannot have windows shut in my house right now, and I've also got like the big doors open at the back, so we're just gonna have to live with background noise. Yeah, we got there Friday late afternoon, because Gary works a half day on a Friday, and it was about 2 hours from us. So by the time we got down there, it was about 5-ish, I think. We did stop for supplies on the way, as we always do. Had a very chill Friday afternoon and evening. The whole 3 days was very chill. Saturday, we went and did a little bit of treasure hunting in a couple of different antique places and rec yards. Gary bought another cabinet thing. It's actually just behind the camera. Excuse me. To work on, so we'll see if he actually gets to work on that or if the cats will claim it. And then we went to have some lunch in a pub that we just randomly found, and then we had a very nice relaxed chill afternoon. Like I napped, we read, watched a bit of TV, we hung out outside a little bit once it cooled off. It was just a really nice day. And then Sunday I wasn't feeling great when I woke up. For some reason, and I don't know how we managed this, because actually I don't think this is straight, because we always take our own pillows when we're traveling. That's not any better, especially since I've had issues with my head, and we both forgot to take our pillows, and the pillows were fine, but they weren't as supportive as my actual pillows, and also the bed was really firm, which is fine, but I was like just not quite comfortable, so I wasn't sleeping very well. So I woke up Sunday, didn't feel great, but we had a very early morning, very lazy morning. Then went to a pub, I think it was called the Half Moon. I put it in the B-roll, that our Airbnb host had recommended. That was the first day. It was really hot. It hit 32 degrees that day, and the property's south facing. So I messaged the host and they were kind enough to bring us a fan. So we went for lunch. We both had a roast because it was fairly cool inside the pub, so it was fine. And then came out to like blazing sunshine. We went on a little expedition to get ice creams, which was so fun. And it kind of felt like, because we were just in little villages and stuff, it kind of felt like we could have been in France or Italy or something. And it was just fun being on this little adventure, the two of us. And then we spent the rest of the day like lay in front of the fan with ice creams. And again, I napped and all that sort of stuff. And then Monday, it was so nice to have the 3 days or the 3 nights, because on a weekend, a normal weekend, like you get there Friday night, you have all day Saturday, and then you have to leave Sunday morning. And actually having that extra night just makes all the difference. We did have to be up by 10, which I always find really irritating, especially when we were allowed to check in at 4 and then check out at 10 a.m. It just feels really early and not that great value for money, in my humble opinion. But I woke up feeling really, really rough. I think it was a combination of the heat. My meds sometimes are just off for no reason, and also like not having my pillow, all that sort of stuff. So I felt really rough when we woke up on Monday morning. So we packed up, well, Gary did most of the packing up, and we were going to go to another rec yard on the way back and go for some brunch, but we just came straight home because I was like, I'm really sorry, but I just need to like lie down. Obviously Gary was really lovely about it. So yeah, we came back. We were home much earlier than we planned on Monday, but it was nice to see the cats. And just get settled back in and get our normal like Sunday chores done, and then yeah, we've been into the week. And like I said, it's been super, super hot. Yesterday it hit 34, which is just scary. We did have an amazing lightning storm last night. No hail, no rain, just lightning, and a few rolls of thunder. But it went on for ages. It went on for a good half an hour. So that was, again, scary, but also kind of exciting. And I've not done much this week. I started a vlog and then abandoned it because I just wasn't enjoying it. And it's a concept I really want to do, but I'm going to wait for when I like more excited about it. Again, I think it's just the heat and my meds have just kind of thrown everything out this week. So I was trying to push myself, and then Joy, my lovely friend Joy, was like, why? It's fine, take a break. And for some reason I needed somebody else to tell me that. And then I was like, you're absolutely right. So there won't have been a video this week that I'm filming this, but obviously this will come up afterwards. So I started a vlog and then abandoned it, which is very unlike me. I think I've only done that once before, but sometimes you just have to be realistic. So yeah, I've not been doing a lot. I've been lying in front of the fan, I've been sleeping in front of the fan, and just you know, eating my weight in ice lollies. Today, one of the reasons I'm upright, I still have damp hair from my cold shower because we had a power cut for 4 hours this morning, so that was delightful. And in the end, I was like, there's enough water in the tank for me to have a shower, but it will have to be a fully cold one. So I had a very quick cold shower, just to like get the top layer of yuck off me. And then the power came back on. But anyway, I'm clean. So today I need to go and pick up my bracelet. So my bracelet is the one that Gary bought me as a wedding gift on a wedding day. It broke at my cousin's wedding at the end of March, and it's been with the jewellers, so I'm going to go and pick that up today. I also have to do a medication run, of course I do. And I might stay and hang out in the Tesco's. Our Tesco's is a giant one, and it's got a cafe, so I might stay and hang out there because they'll have aircon before I come back, because I have been like in this house for 2 or 3 days now. What day are we on? It's Thursday, so like, yeah, 3 days. So I need to get out a little bit. So I might do that. And then at the weekend, we've got my sister-in-law's birthday. Well, it's her birthday party. Her birthday's until the following week. But we're going out to one of our favourite local Italians for lunch, which we realise Charlie's hopefully coming with us. It's not technically our weekend, but hopefully he's going to come with us. And that should just be a nice family time. And then it'll suddenly be June, which is crazy. So I have 2 books that I finished, and then I've got 3 parcels to open because you guys are just super lovely. And I'm not sure why you would send me stuff, but I really appreciate that you do. So the first book that I finished, this is the one that I finished over the weekend, was The Impossible Fortune by Richard Osman, which was obviously my other pre-order that I was very excited for this month. This is book 5, is it? 1, 2, yeah, 5, just counting the ones on my shelf. This is book 5 in the Thursday Murder Club series. I really enjoyed this. I'm obviously not going to tell you about book 5 because it's book 5, but we're following a group of older people who live in a retirement village and they solve crimes. The book previous to this, which was The Last Devil to Die, was one of my favourite books of the year it came out. Was that last year or the year before? Because something happens in that book and I was so emotional about it. Like when Gary saw me after I finished reading that book, he thought someone we knew. It's like something had happened to someone we knew. This one didn't have the same emotional reaction. I gave it 4.5. I still thoroughly enjoyed my time. Being back with these characters is just so comforting and fun. And there's everyone's got their own storylines going on. There's like an overarching storyline. There's loads of discussion in all of these books about growing older and loneliness and grief. And this one in particular looks at kind of what happens when you have a big, and I'm being deliberately vague, when you have a big change in your life, especially as an older person, how difficult that can be to accept. And yeah, I just thought this was a fun time. It had a fun mystery element to it. 4.5 stars. I love these characters. I will happily read like 20 more books in this series. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the next book, although I think it's going to be a while because he's writing his other series, which is a series I didn't enjoy. But anyway, so that one was for Chloe's one. Book about family or friendship, I think, because obviously I can't remember. I will do a wrap up in my final clip, but I did use that for Chloe's readathon. And then for the prompt of continuous series, I picked up and read Scandal and the Phantom Rider by A.F. Steadman. Again, you watched me open this month. This is the second Scandal book. I really enjoyed this. I gave this 4 stars. There was something very nostalgic about these books, even though I've never read them before. I think I might have said this when I reviewed Scandal, the first one last month. They feel very familiar. These are a fantastic replacement for the Boy Wizard series if you are looking for a series that doesn't have lots and lots of problematic elements to it. And yeah, Skandar is in his second year at this academy where he is learning to be a unicorn rider. What I really love is that the unicorns are not cute and fluffy. They are savage. They're wild animals. And like Skandar has to have a lot of respect for his unicorn, and I really love that. I really like how the magic works. I really like the bigger mysteries that are building, because this one wraps up the storyline in this story, but then also leaves it really open for book 3, which I'm hoping to pick up soon. I love the friendship, the found family. We're also starting to get lots of different rep appearing. We did have some in the first book, but as the characters get older, there's definitely more rep in terms of gender and sexuality building, which I love to see. And I just think there's fantastic world building. Is it a little bit long? Yes. Is it a little bit slow in places? Yes, that's why it couldn't get more than a 4-star from me. I think I gave the first one 4-star. I would say this one is better. You can see like how her writing is developing. It was a little bit slow in places would be my only criticism, but I do really love the series and I'm hoping to read book 3 shortly. Okay, let's open some parcels. Jack is now on the chair next to me here, where Molly has previously slept a lot, and he's looking real sketchy at me. He's not happy about this noise. Right, let's open these parcels. I think I've already done my disclaimer in this video because I think I've already been spoilt by you guys this month. So I have no idea who this is from, what it is or why, but I deeply, deeply appreciate it. Ooh, oh, okay. Oh, it's a hardback. I can't find a gift. Oh, okay, let's put this down carefully so we're not doxing ourselves. Oh, is that might be a gift, right? Nope, that's just a receipt. Okay, some lovely person has sent me Witches Abroad by Terry Pratchett, which is the next in the Witches series, as far as StoryGraph tells me. Is there a gift note somewhere in here? No, there isn't. How very annoying. I will do a little bit of internet digging to see who sent me this. And if I haven't found you by the time this video goes up, please let me know, drop me a comment, let me know you sent this for me. Thank you so very much, that's really kind. I don't even know what this one's about. I do love these beautiful hardback editions though. Does it say? There's no like... Oh, it says a little bit on the back. You can't fight a happy ending, at least up until now. Okay, I'm intrigued. Like I said, I know nothing about what this is about. Okay, so at the very start here it says, dedicated to all those people and why not, who after the publication of Weird Sisters declared the author, deluged the author with their version of the words of the Hedgehog song, Dearie Dearie Me. Okay, intrigued. Obviously part of the Discworld series, and it's a very beautiful copy. So whoever that was, oh, hiccup sound. Whoever that was, thank you so very much. Like I said, I will try and find you before this video goes up. Then we got this one. Ooh, something sliding around in there. Oh, off in one, lovely. Let's see if we can find a gift note. Oh, from Stacey. Oh. She said, things can feel unforgiving sometimes, but we all deserve a few small joys in between. Sending good vibes and strong women, from Vintage Stacey. Thank you so much. That's so kind. That's such a kind thought. Okay, what have you... Oh, that's the receipt. Sending good vibes and strong women. What have you... Oh, yes. Okay. I'm so chuffed for this. This is the Firelight Apprentice by Brie Paulson, who wrote the Garlic duology, which is one of my favourite graphic novel series or duologies ever. And I've had this on my list for the longest time. I kept looking at it. So this says, in a city powered by magic and still recovering from a bloody war, Ada is concerned about her younger sister Safi's developing powers. She understands that Safi could learn how to control her magic under the apprenticeship of a king's magician. But with the memories of the war still fresh, Ada is conflicted by this prospect, despite her knowing that she can't help Safi safely at home with the threat of deadly, power-thieving liches prowling the kingdom. So I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's quite a lot, but this looks really exciting. And it just says, from the best-selling author, illustrator of The Garlic and the Vampire, Brie Paulson brings her fantastical storytelling and warm, sparkling artwork to this tale that celebrates the bond between sisters. Oh, I'm so excited to read this, and I will read it soon. I love her style. Let's try and... Oh, we love... It's got a content warning at the start. We love to see that. This is the kind of style. Obviously, this is from the very beginning, so it won't be spoilery. I just love Brie Paulson's art style. So yeah, fantastic. Okay, I'm not going to start reading that right now because I'm literally on camera, but I will be reading that soon, so thank you so much, Stacey. And then this one, finally. Yeah, sticky. Okay, again, gift note, possible, no gift note. Oh, Amazon sucks for gift notes today. That's a very exciting choice though. This is A Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I think there's only one other Emily Henry that I haven't read because I seem to have stormed through them all in the last couple months. I don't even know what this one's about. I think this is her latest release. 2 writers, 1 love story, a twist to beat them all. And as I found with other Emily Henry books, the cover doesn't usually match with what's inside. They're usually quite a lot darker and deeper than you were expecting. So I'm intrigued for this. So when Margaret Ives, the famously reclusive heiress, invites, I'm remembering this now, Alice to the little balmy little Crescent Island, Alice knows this is it, her big break. The catch, Pulitzer Prize winning human thundercloud, Hayden is sure of the same thing. The proposal? Uncover the truth behind one of the most scandalous families of the 20th century, and Margaret will choose who will tell her life story. The problem? With only fragments of the truth and an inconvenient yearning pulsing between them every time they're in the same room, one thing is abundantly clear. Alice and Hayden's story could be a mystery, a tragedy, or a romance, depending on who's telling it. Oh, I'm so intrigued by this. I'm really sad there's no gift note. So again, if you sent me this, please let me know in the comments. And thank you so very much because it's really kind. So, as ever, a lovely eclectic mix of stuff. I am going to tidy this all up, get into town before it gets too hot, and get my bracelet, and then hope that it cools down a little bit over the next few days. And those are almost all the books that I read in the month of May. It is now the start of June. I'm coming in as ever to wrap up the wrap up. I've got 2 more books to talk to you about. I've got a book to open, and then we can do stats and you can go on with the rest of your day, because I'm sure this has been a really long vlog. The last time I edited it, we were up near 2 hours. So I think this is going to be another long one. Apologies for that. But yeah, I've just also realised I've got Tipp-Ex all over my fingers. That's really helpful. I can't remember when I last chatted to you, probably Friday, possibly. We had a really nice weekend. We celebrated my sister-in-law's birthday. Charlie was with us, which was really nice. And then rest of Saturday and Sunday, Gary and I just chilled at home. We didn't really do much. The weather is finally broken, thank goodness. So it's no longer 30 degrees outside, because that is not fun. So we're now having thunderstorms instead, so that's fun, but at least it's not ridiculously hot and we can all breathe and think, and the cats have kind of like come back to life, because bless them, they really struggle when it's hot. I mean, they don't help themselves. I like create like shady cool spots for them with cool packs and stuff. Will they use them? No. In fact, what they'll do is lie in the conservatory, which is basically like an oven, all day, because they are little idiots. But anyway, we're all fine. Yeah, and that's pretty much the end of the month. It was a pretty quiet end to the month, which is always a good thing. So let's talk about the books that I finished. The next book that I picked up was Yesteryear by Caro Claire Burke. This was also for Chloe's reading challenge, which I'll run through in a minute. I'll like give you a quick run through of what I read for each if you're interested. This has been absolutely everywhere. It's like one of the hottest books of the year. It's already in production with to make a film out of it, starring Anne Hathaway, and I will definitely be in that audience watching when that film comes out. This is a really interesting one. What did I give it? 4 stars? Yeah, I gave it 4 stars. Debut novel. Very clever. I don't even really know how to put it into a genre. I would just say literary fiction. One of the like genre tags on StoryGraph is thriller, and if you're going into this expecting a thriller, you're going to be disappointed because it's not that, but it is very twisty. So we are following, what's her name? Is it Natty? Yeah, Natalie, who has this picture perfect life. She lives on this huge farm in America. I think it's like Idaho or something. She's got 6 kids. She's got another baby on the way. She's got her very handsome husband who's kind of, you know, out working the farm, and he's a cowboy and all that sort of stuff. And she is an online influencer, and her life looks completely perfect from the outside. We are in her point of view all the way through, which is one of the things I really loved. And we learn very quickly, and this isn't a spoiler because it's in the it's in the synopsis, is that it's fake. She does live on a farm with her husband and her children, but they have like a team of nannies. She's got a producer who films and edits all of her content for her. The farm, they've got loads of like workers on the farm, so her husband doesn't really do anything except sort of like potter around all day on his horse. It's all fake. And then, so we follow her for a little bit, and then it splits into 2. So we go back in time to when Natalie first went to university or college, because it's in the States, and met her husband, and how they met and their relationship and how they kind of ended up on the farm. And then the other narrative is her waking up one day in this weird place. It sort of looks like her house, but it's not her house. Her husband looks like her husband, but isn't her husband. Her kids sort of look like her kids, but not quite. And there is no like running water, electricity, all that sort of stuff. So she's kind of when we first meet her, she's kind of giving off this vibe of like going back to basics and all that sort of stuff. And then she wakes up and she's living the life that she's been pretending to live. And it's so clever. I'm not going to say what page point, because obviously that's a spoiler, but I got quite a way into this and I was thinking, where is this going? How is this going to resolve? I don't know. And then it resolves and it caught me off guard. I only gave it a 4-star because the ending was way too rushed, and I think part of it in the middle got a little bit repetitive. So we could probably have taken some out of the middle and given that space to the ending to really explore it. But I do think it was very clever. It sort of reminded me, not in what the twist is, but in the kind of tone of Gone Girl, when you're in a protagonist's head who is so awful, you don't want to spend time with her. She's a terrible person. It's the same with this one. Like, Natalie's an awful person, but you also can't look away. And I said this loads of times, I'm usually somebody who has to like a character to like a book, but I went into this knowing that she was an unlikable character, and so I was kind of prepared for it. And actually, you couldn't write a likable character in this situation and have the same impact. So yeah, really, really clever. Highly recommend it if you're interested. Check content warnings, please, as always. And I'm very interested to see when the film comes out how they do it, because that will be intriguing. So yeah, that was a 4-star read. And then I just wanted something like quick, easy, don't need my brain, just want to like enjoy a book and read it quickly. So I was like, hockey romance, cool. So this is Game Changer by Rachel Reid. I got this a couple months ago, I think now. Some lovely person sent it to me. Yeah, Charlene sent this to me. This was fun. I gave this 4 stars. This is my first Rachel Reid book. It won't be the last. This is the first book in the series that has Heated Rivalry in it. Heated Rivalry is the second book, which obviously been, as you can see from the non-removable sticker, we hate that, has been an absolutely massive TV show on Sky. I haven't watched that yet because I want to read the books first. And this is the book set before, so they're all interconnected stories. I think there's a different couple in each book, I think. And this is the couple that comes before the couple in that series. So I really enjoyed this. Like I said, I gave it 4 stars. It was fun. It was smutty. There is a lot of spicy scenes in this. I'd say probably like, it's probably 60% spice. We're following, I can never remember character names, Kip and Scott. So Scott is a star hockey player, ice hockey player. I know nothing about ice hockey, how it works, by the way. He's the star of that team in New York, and Kip works in a smoothie shop. And one day on his way to get ready for a game, Scott goes into the smoothie shop, orders smoothie from Kip. They have this like immediate, it's not immediate like love at first sight, but they are immediately attracted to each other. And Scott has been on kind of a losing streak with his team, and he gets the blueberry smoothie from Kip. He goes to the match and they absolutely smash it and they win really big. So the next time he has a match, Scott comes back to the smoothie shop because he wants to kind of keep this like ritual going. He buys another smoothie from Kip and it goes from there. And I really liked this. Like I said, it's very spicy. But I also really liked the relationship between the two men. And Kip they're both in their sort of late 20s, early 30s, and they're both struggling in different ways. Kip is working in a smoothie shop. He's got a history degree that he doesn't really know what to do with. He's living with his parents. He's still living in his childhood room. He's feeling quite stuck, and a lot of his friends are moving on with their lives. They're getting married or having children or having exciting jobs, and he's kind of feeling really, really stuck. And Scott, even though he has this incredible wealthy lifestyle, kind of feels like he's trapped in this gilded cage because he has to be closeted, or he feels like he has to be closeted. There are, as far as he is aware, there are no gay ice hockey players, or at least none that are like out and visible. And so he's lived his whole life closeted, and obviously comes so much like internal kind of loneliness and all that sort of stuff. So it's about these two men kind of finding each other, helping each other, their relationship. Scott's kind of coming to terms with who he is and working out how to have his personal life and his public life. And I just really enjoyed this. Like I said, I read it really quickly. I probably could have read it in a day. I read it in 2 days, but it was a really quick, fun read, and I would really like to read Heated Rivalry, which is the next book in the series. So those were the books that I read in the month of May. I do have a parcel to open, so let's do that. I think this is from Ellen because she messaged me and said that she'd sent something, but it wouldn't let her do a gift note, so I think this is from her. So thank you very much, lovely Ellen. I will check for a gift note. No, there isn't. Right, what have you gone for? Oh, yes, okay. Let's put this down. So this is the next Miss Marple that I need. This is The Mirror Cracked from Side to Side. I don't know anything about it. I love this cover. This is the next Miss Marple that I need to read. It's got a bit of a mark on it, but I can clean that off. So it says, a movie star, a deadly cocktail, a mysterious murder. When glamorous Marina Gregg came to live in St. Mary Mead, tongues were sure to wag. But with a local gossip's sudden death, has one tongue wagged a bit too much? As the police chase false leads and 2 more victims meet untimely ends, Miss Marple starts to ask her own questions. What secrets might link a peaceful English village and a star of the silver screen? Never underestimate Miss Marple. Thank you so much, Ellen. That's really kind, and I might pick this up quite soon. Oh, it's got a bit grubby on the corner there. That's fine. I can clean that off. I think it's possibly where it got a bit wet because it's been raining a lot here. Yeah, thank you for that. I'm very excited to read the next one, and it's going to continue. I'm collecting these particular editions because they've got really cool spines and they look really nice on the shelf. So yeah, very excited to read that soon. So thank you very much. I'll put that into the reading journal. Let's talk about Chloe's Vampire? No, Vampire Diaries readathon. If I remember when I'm editing, I will put it up here, but I finished on 75%. Hopefully editing me has remembered and seen me waving my hands around. Finished on 75%, which I didn't think was too bad for a month-long readathon that had, I think, 20 prompts. Yeah. So very, very quickly, I'm just going to run through this. So for Book with an Animal on the Cover, I read Frankie. For Dual POV, I read Butcher and Blackbird. For Features Magic, I read Weird Sisters. For slow-paced book, I read Ink Blood Sister Scribe. For featuring a society or a council, I read The Daisy Chain Flower Shop because they have those hilarious like town meetings. It seemed like a perfect fit. Been on your TBR a while was Hemlock and Silver because that was the book, my oldest book on my TBR. Has been adapted, The Testaments. Featuring friendship, The Impossible Fortune. Reread was Roaring Girls. Then historical element, I felt quite clever for this. I went with Jane Austen's Bookshelf because it's looking at the people who inspired Jane Austen, so it's kind of looking at historical women. Popular book, I've put in Yesteryear because it is everywhere at the moment, and rightly so. And then continuous series, I did Scandal and The Phantom Rider. With a competition, Sunrise on the Reaping, obviously. with family drama, book lovers, and then a romance. My roommate is a vampire. So I didn't get shiny cover with a journey, hidden gem, a different setting, or thriller. But like I said, I finished on 75%, so I'm very happy with that. Let's do stats. So, purple bookmark? What are words? Purple notebook. Here we go. So, in the month of May, I read 16 books, which gave me an average star rating of 4.06. So, I read quite a lot. I felt quite slumpy, I can't lie. I felt quite slumpy this month. I think that's more to do with probably my mental state than actually the books I'm reading, because 4.06, that's a really high average, and it's actually higher than I was expecting, so I'm pleased with that. I read 5,893 pages, give me an average of 160 a day. My favourite read, so this might be a bit controversial, but this is my channel and I can do what I like. I don't have a favourite read from May. The only 5-star I gave was to Sunrise on the Reaping, and that was a reread, and I can't have rereads in my favourite stack. I enjoyed a lot of what I read, but I didn't have any others that I was like, I am obsessed and I want to tell everyone about this and like recommend it everywhere. So I looked at the books I've read so far this year that hadn't made it onto my favourites list, and I'm going to put a book in from April that I absolutely loved and I'm obsessed with and cannot wait for the sequel. This is probably giving you clues. I've got an individual video for it, which is very unusual for me to do, so I'll link that underneath. And the only reason it didn't go into my favourites was because I had such a visceral reaction to A Story of a Heart. I couldn't not have that in my favourite stack. But given that May was kind of mediocre, and I don't have any like I'm obsessed books, I'm going to put in Survival Show by Juno Dawson as my favourite of May from March, from April even, because when I eventually come to do my favourite books of 2026, I want all of those books to be like books that I am so hyped and passionate about, and this one I haven't stopped thinking about. I might reread it like next month possibly. So my favourite read of May is actually in fact from April. But like I said, it's my channel and I can do, and my reading life, and I can do what I like with it. So that's my favourite of the month. Then my most disappointing read, I'm going to go with Hemlock and Silver by T. Kingfisher, because I gave this 3.5 stars, maybe. Yeah, 3.5 stars, which is not a bad rating. I still enjoyed it. I just didn't love it. And I was really hoping that this would be a 5-star read. So to give it a 3.5 is a bit disappointing. I'm kind of coming to the conclusion that T. Kingfisher just maybe isn't for me. I've read one of their horrors. I've read this one, which is like their fantasy retelling. If you are someone who's watched my channel for a while and knows my book taste and knows T. Kingfisher, should I give them another go? If so, which one should I read? Be very specific. Or should I just accept that they're just not for me and that's okay? Don't know. But yeah, this is my most disappointing read of the month. I'm also sad because it's so pretty. Look at that cover. But that is my most disappointing read of the month. Anyway, moving on. My TBR stands at 46 books, which means we've gone up 2 books from April, even though I read 16 books, and we'll do balancing the books in a minute. The oldest book on my TBR is A Treachery of Swans, which is from January. So actually in June, it will be 6 months old. So I need to read that ASAP. It is on my June TBR, which we'll talk about in a minute. But it's going to be my prompt for Ben's readathon, which is the Read Good challenge, because June is like something about books that you are embarrassed you haven't read yet or should have read yet. That's the oldest book on my TBR, so I'm going to use it for that prompt. So it will get read, hopefully, and I'll talk to you about that in a minute. In June, I had no DNFs, which is very nice, and then balancing the books, 13 books. So I read 16 books in total. 13 came off the TBR because I had a couple of rereads. I had 3 rereads, which is the next stat. I was kindly gifted by you guys 13 books this month, which is a lot. And I am so grateful for every single one of them and for every single one of you. So thank you so much. It's really kind. I had no books from publishers this month. And I bought 2 books myself, which was my 2 pre-orders. So that totals 15 books came in. So 2 more in than out, because 13 went off my TBR. So 2 more in than out, and year to date 11 more in than out. So at the moment we are tilted towards, I've bought more books in than I've read. Still 11 books, I don't think that's too bad. That stat is probably not going to get any better over the next couple of months, which we'll talk about in a minute. It is what it is. Shelves, I've got 2 books returning, so those are physical books that I reread. I have got 7 books incoming, which is quite a lot for me, but I continued quite a few series this month, so those books need to go and sit on the shelf with their siblings, and then 7 books going out that either I didn't enjoy or I'm just not going to read again. And like I said, I had no DNFs. So those are the stats for the month. We do need to talk very briefly because yesterday I had a phone call from the hospital. Everything is okay, but my surgery is going to happen in June. I'm deliberately not saying when in June, just in case something changes, and also just kind of for my own peace of mind. There's kind of a lot obviously happening in my real life, and I've got a lot to do to get myself ready for surgery, and also ready as you can be to be incapacitated for the next few months. So the surgery will involve, I'm not going to talk about like what the actual surgery involves, but post-surgery I've been told to expect a hospital stay of up to 2 weeks, and then it's a six month recovery at home. So there will be a video after this kind of talking a little bit about what's going to happen and what's going to happen on my channel and the Etsy store and stuff, but I'm going to give myself, I'm filming this on Tuesday. I'm planning to film that video on Friday. And I got the call yesterday, so I'm hoping by then everything will have settled a little bit. But the rough plan is this channel will go on hiatus, probably for 3 months, and then see how my recovery is going. It obviously depends on any complications or anything that happens. I might pop up sooner than that. I might have to extend my hiatus. Like I said, I will explain everything in that video, which will come up next Sunday. So this is going to be my last monthly video for a while, and after nearly 8 years of doing it feels very odd. I realised yesterday I didn't need to be filming B-roll because there won't be a June vlog. That was a bit of a weird one, but it is what it is. This operation needs to happen. I'm deeply grateful for NHS. I'm very grateful to be being seen earlier than we thought. You know, when we spoke to the surgeon, she said by the end of the summer, so I was kind of expecting September. So for it to happen in June is obviously much quicker, which is a good thing. I'm not going to pretend I'm not scared. It is a scary thing as well. But the only way out is through. I need to have this operation to get, hopefully, much better quality of life. And it's happening this month, which is scary Mary. Anyway, I don't want to waffle on too much because, like I said, the plan is that next Sunday's video will be a like chatty video with me, hopefully not too long, just explaining how it's all going to work, what's going to happen with the Etsy store and Instagram and Discord and all that sort of stuff. And I know there'll be people who will say like, you don't need to announce a hiatus, but I have always been really open with you guys with what's going on, and I will feel better to kind of put like an out of office on kind of, and just be clear with what's happening. So yeah, this is the last monthly vlog for a while. Hopefully sort of by September, October time, I'll be back wasting your time with 2.5 hours of my nonsense. Anyway, bit of a weird note to end the vlog on. I apologise, but that was May. It was a roller coaster of a month. Some good stuff, some stressful stuff. It's just life, isn't it? I read some good books. So if you got to this point in the video, leave me the sun emoji, because one of the big things that happened this month was the heat wave. Look, and what a time that was. So yeah, just leave me the sun emoji, just let me know you got to the end of the video. Please subscribe if you'd like more of this chaos, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks everyone. Bye.